This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. A village watchman and another person were killed in separate hacking incidents on Thursday in the Bicol region, Lieutenant Colonel Maria Luisa Calubaquib, Bicol police spokesperson, said in a report that while on a drinking spree, William Bumale, 57, was hacked and stabbed around 5:30 p.m. by the suspect identified as Ronnie Pida, 40, in Barangay Bayjid. Bumale died instantly due to multiple wounds. The initial investigation showed that the police were considering personal grudge as a possible motive for the killing, Calubaquib said. The Sandigan has affirmed the conviction of the former treasurer of Ronda Town in Cebu, as it also denied his motion for the inhibition of the justices who rendered the decision. Affirmed was the guilty verdict imposed on Esperatoa del Socorro in a decision handed down last February 7. Del Socorro was sentenced to 6 to 10 years imprisonment for his graft conviction with perpetual disqualification from holding public office. For his malversation conviction, he was sentenced to 6 to 10 years imprisonment and ordered to pay a fine of 2,063,422 pesos. The anti-graft court also held him civilly liable for the amount of 2,063,422 pesos, which he should refund to the Bureau of Treasury. In his motion for reconsideration, Del Socorro cited reversible error and prayed for his acquittal. He also pleaded that the honorable presiding justices of the instant case should voluntarily inhibit themselves from acting upon the motion because of manifest bias and partiality. But the Sandigan 6th Division ruled that it would be an exercise in futility should it grant the motion to inhibit with motion for reconsideration. It stressed that there is no compelling reason or cause for them to voluntarily inhibit because of unconscious bias. In fine, the prized ideal of the cold neutrality of an impartial judge implicit in the due process guarantee had been met, the court said. It also said that since Del Socorro's motion for reconsideration merely contained warmed-over arguments previously put forward and found to be unmeritorious, it would be an exercise in futility for the court to reiterate itself.
A member of the Manila Police District was arrested by authorities in Navita's City after he allegedly hit a traffic enforcer who apprehended him. According to John Veneration's report on 24 Oras, the video of the Manila policeman being arrested by Navita's cops led by Navita's Chief of Police Colonel Alan Umapig has already gone viral. Police Master Sergeant Ramon Guina reportedly tried to flee after he was apprehended by Navita's traffic enforcer Mark Luzuriaga. Guina was reportedly driving a tricycle without a franchise. The chase ended with Guina reportedly punching Luzuriaga. Guina was then arrested by Navita's policemen. The leadership of the Manila Police District, "We do not tolerate our rank and file in the event that they make a mistake," said MPD spokesperson Police Major Philippine. 4 ranking police officials have been recommended to be removed from the Philippine National Police due to alleged involvement in illegal drug activities. A 5-member advisory panel headed by former PNP Chief Rodolfo Esiring Jr. recommended the acceptance of the courtesy resignations of the third-level officials, including 2 one-star generals and 2 colonels. The 4 were among the 953 third-level officers evaluated by the panel after they submitted their courtesy resignations. The panel cleared 917 of them, while it endorsed the suspension of President Marcos' disposition on the 32 officers. The Star opted not to reveal the names of the officials as the National Police Commission has yet to resolve the administrative cases filed against them. Marcos, being the country's chief executive, will have the final say on the matter. The 4 had one thing in common: they were once assigned at the PNP Drug Enforcement Group. The panel endorsed the filing of administrative charges against the officials before the NAPOLCOM for violation of the PNP's rules and regulations against illegal drugs. Charges have been filed against the mayor and 2 other officials of Badian Town, Cebu Province after they allegedly failed to stop the illegal construction of structures in one of the coastal barangays in the municipality. Charged before the Office of the Ombudsman Visayas on Tuesday, May 2, were Badian Mayor Carmencita Lumain, Engineer Vicente Nilis, head of the town's Office of the Building Official, and Manolito Recopilacion, chief of the Municipal Environmental and Natural Resources Office. The charges were filed by Gilbert Yap, president of the Redwood Heritage Land Holdings Corporation, who asked the anti-graft court to investigate the 3 officials for grave misconduct. inefficiency and incompetence in the performance of officials' duties, refusal to perform official duty, conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service, and Article 208 of a revised penal code for prosecution of offences, and negligence and tolerance. According to Yap's legal counsel, Van Roosok, the filing of charges stemmed from Lumain, Nilis, and Recapitulation's alleged failure to enforce the order stopping the construction of illegal structures in Barangay Lambok. In his complaint affidavit, Yap said he bought a property in Lambok from one Crescentia Felimeno and the sale was finalized after the deed of absolute sale was executed and annotated in the 20th of October 21. After the completion of the sale, Yap said he was surprised when the fence in the property that he bought was destroyed by some individuals. Yap identified those behind the destruction of some property and illegally occupied the area as Rafael Chan, Sita Chan, Marsha Martellino, Ven Martellino, Nieva Martellino, Julian Sai, Maria Carmela Sai, and Lucio Ribaggio, among others. Security guards from the Aros Security Force Agency were deployed in the area to prohibit anyone from entering the property, Yap said. Yap said he has filed charges for grave coercion and malicious mischief against these individuals. He said several structures were then built in the property which violated Republic Act 7586 and Presidential Decree 1067. In his letter to the mayor, Yap said the construction of structures violated the 40 easement rule. Yap said Lumain issued a cease and desist order on August 19, 2022 ordering Ven Martellino and Benjamin Martellino to stop the construction of structures in the area. It was also found out during the investigation of the Provincial Environmental and Natural Resources Office that the construction of the structures had no necessary permits, Yap said. However, despite the cease and desist order issued by Lumain, construction in the property continued, Yap said. Yap said he repeatedly asked Lumain and Nilis to enforce the order but to no avail. This prompted Yap to sue Lumain, Nilis, and Recapitulation before the Ombudsman. Yap said he believed that the three officials committed grave misconduct when they did not allegedly enforce the order to stop the construction. 4 erring cops were dismissed from service as part of the internal cleansing within the police regional office in the Caraga region. In a statement Wednesday, PRO 13 Director Brigadier General Pablo Labor II said the 4 were part of the 15 police personnel who were penalized. We won't allow a few bad apples among our ranks to spoil the image of our entire organization, eclipsing the good deeds being done daily by the majority of police personnel, Labor said. Cops involved in crimes and illegal activities, he added, will be sanctioned accordingly following their constitutional right to due process. Based on the PRO 13 discipline, law, and order section records, at least 38 police personnel are facing administrative cases, 34 of which were filed since Labor assumed his post as PRO 13 chief last year. 15 of the 38 were penalized as of May 3, of which 4 were ordered dismissed from service, 5 were suspended, 2 were forfeited of their salary, and 4 were reprimanded. Those dismissed from service were proven guilty of grave neglect of duty and grave misconduct, Labor said. A 44-year-old police officer gunned down a 30-year-old teacher due to alleged jealousy on Wednesday afternoon, May 3, in Barangay 43, Quarry District here. Police identified the victim as Jessica Durana, 30, a resident of Barangay 42, this city. Durana's mother told police that she and her daughter were walking toward the pathway in Barangay 43 when the suspect, Police Senior Master Sergeant Van Gregory Benitez, 44, assigned to the Tacloban City Police Office, suddenly appeared from behind and stood in front of them. Benitez pointed a short firearm and fired several shots at the victim while uttering the word "sorry, Jessica." The suspect casually walked away to the exit of the pathway in Barangay 44 and disappeared. Responding policemen found the victim lying on the pavement in the middle of the pathway with multiple bullet wounds in the body. The victim's body was taken to the Tacloban City Hospital after crime scene processing and was officially declared dead on arrival by the attending physician. Police have launched a thorough investigation and hot pursuit operation against the suspect. A city government official was dismissed from service for allegedly availing himself of gasoline from the city for an unserviceable bulldozer 9 times in the 20th of October 22. Bacolod Mayor Alfredo Abelardo Benitez found Ramil Palalan, head of the city's Department of Public Services, liable for 9 counts of grave misconduct and gross neglect of duty upon the recommendation of the city legal officer. DPS driver Darwin Cardones was also found guilty of the same offences, and was ordered suspended for 6 months. CLO Romeo Carlos Ding Jr. on Tuesday, May 2, said Cardones was found to have signed the trip tickets of a bulldozer that he did not use. The driver was made to sign the trip tickets by his boss, Ding said. Cardones, he said, filed a motion for reconsideration for a lesser penalty so his suspension had not been enforced yet. Palaland claimed that the gasoline was used for a bulldozer of IPN Construction and Development Corporation, the garbage hauler of Bacolod City, for road clearing operations, the investigation by the CLO showed. However, an inquiry by the CLO showed that IPM did not use the city government gasoline for its bulldozer. Palaland dismissals from service, which was implemented on April 27, may be appealed before the Civil Service Commission. Ding said Palaland could no longer be allowed to work in the city government. A male immigration officer will face an administrative case for supposedly facilitating the departure of a couple who are reportedly victims of trafficking in Myanmar, the Bureau of Immigration said on Thursday. Immigration Commissioner Norman Tansinko, in a statement, said the officer has been removed from his post for his involvement in the case of the couple who worked as love scammers and arrived home on April 25 after escaping their employers. Tansinko warned immigration personnel not to be involved in illegal cross-border activities. If you are innocent, I will defend you, but if I find out that you are involved, you will know the consequence of your action. I don't care who your backer is, he said. According to the victims, they experienced physical abuse, threats, and starvation as consequences for not reaching their quota. Both claimed that they were recruited via social media by a certain Maxisa and left the country in the 20th of October 22 purportedly for a 4-day vacation in Singapore. The two noted that from Singapore, they flew to Bangkok and were transported by armed men to Mae Sot City to eventually take a boat ride to Myanmar. After their successful escape, they sought assistance from the Philippine Embassy in Thailand.
That's all for this week. I'll see you next week with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.